Well, 2 decades ago, the 9/11 Commission found Al-Qaeda acted alone in the attacks on September 11th. Nearly 3,000 people were killed that day. However, newly released video obtained by 60 Minutes shows a man suspected to be a Saudi intelligence agent outside of the capital 2 years before 9/11. Both the Saudi government and the man in the video deny any involvement in the attacks, but the victims' families say the video supports their claims of Saudi Arabia's complicity. The national chairwoman for 9/11 Families United shared her reaction.
It's just absolutely terrible to watch. It's sad and it's frightening and it makes us angry. But I am happy that it's now finally out and that the American people can see it.
CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins us now for our weekly national security wrap-up. So, Sam, what more do we know about this video and the claims of Saudi government involvement?
Well, Lana, while the public is viewing this footage for the first time, it's about 25 years old, it is worth noting that the FBI has had this content for at least several years. The video was originally uncovered by British authorities when they raided the residence of the individual pictured in the video, Omar al-Bayoumi. And the video does show this individual really casing sites in the U.S. Capitol. Now, the 9/11 Commission report, which was published in 2004, did find no evidence that the Saudi government as an institution or senior Saudi officials funded al-Qaeda. However, after the 9/11 Commission report was published, there was a series of investigations into individuals, including Omar al-Bayoumi, about his really networking with two of the 9/11 hijackers. Now, this case is still undergoing the court processes, and we'll have to see how the rulings go. But I do think this video is important to be exposed publicly and really does beg the question of why it was not shared sooner, even if it does not establish a direct link between the government of Saudi Arabia and al-Qaeda and the 9/11 plots.
Yeah. Sam, let's also discuss North Korea because Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin really put their close relationship on display in Pyongyang this week. What were the big takeaways for you?
Well, in scenes really reminiscent of the Cold War era, in which the Soviet Union and North Korea had an incredibly close relationship, President Putin traveled to North Korea this week for the first time since 2000 and engaged in a heavy series of public displays of affection with Kim Jong-un. Now, while on the ground in North Korea, the two countries did sign a kind of mutual aid agreement in which they agreed to provide all available military assistance to one another if the other country found itself in a state of war. They had a similar agreement as part of a treaty signed in 1961. In reality, North Korea is already providing Russia ammunition and ballistic missiles that Russia is using on the battlefield in Ukraine. So some analysts are viewing this agreement as really symbolic. However, North Korea's neighbors like South Korea and Japan are viewing this agreement with real concern. And South Korea announced after this agreement was signed that it was revisiting its policy of not providing lethal aid to Ukraine. So we'll have to see if South Korea and Japan, North Korea's neighbors, take actions in response to this agreement between North Korea and Russia.
All right, the third topic we want to hit today, the Biden administration taking executive action this week on immigration. Sam, talk to us about the orders and who they're specifically targeting.
Well, the Biden administration, in the first instance this week, announced that they would be providing a pathway to permanent residency, work permits, and eventually citizenship for the undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens who have been in the country for at least 10 years and who meet certain other conditions. Under existing policy, these individuals would otherwise have to leave the country to apply for work permits and an adjustment of their status to legal permanent residence and ultimately perhaps a green card. So now, later this summer, they can apply for work permits, they can apply for permanent residency, and if they get that, they could ultimately apply to become citizens. This policy will also apply to the stepchildren of U.S. citizens who are undocumented under the age of 21 and unmarried. The administration is estimating that this could apply to over 500,000 people. The administration is also announcing a streamlined process for undocumented students who receive a degree from an accredited U.S. university or college and who receive an offer of employment in their field of study. So this could really open up a lot of job opportunities for undocumented students, as well as a pathway to work, residency, and citizenship for undocumented spouses and children of U.S. citizens.
All right, Sam Vinograd for us in D.C. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks.